In this lab, we're going to be installing Windows Server Update Services. This is lab 2. Uh, so the exercise is going to be divided in 4 parts. The first one is going to be exercise 2.1, which is installing WASES or Windows Server Update Services. Then we're going to configure it, and then we're going to configure the client for this purpose, and then we're going to be approving or not approving updates. So let's go ahead and get started with this. Step number 1 is going to be, we're going to log into server 1. I don't know what server I am right now, so let's take a look at that. We are on the domain controller, which is not where we want to be. So let's go to server 01, and we're going to press Control Delete. Let's control our environment here, making it as big as we can. So let's go ahead and log in as the administrator here, the network administrator, and we're going to put our password $$W0RD, and then we're going to press enter. Okay. So let's go to File Explorer, and we're going to create a folder right there at the root of C. So we're going to right click and select new folder. We're going to call these updates. It's going to be the updates folder. Now, the instructions ask you to give full control to the temporary ASP.NET files and the temp folder, but these folders do not exist just yet. So the one thing we need to do first is actually install, do the second part, which is install the server role. So let's do that. So right there in Server Manager, this is step number 13. In Server Manager, let's go and select Add Roles and Features. And then with the wizard display, we're going to click Next. It's a role-based feature we're going to add here. Click Next. It's going to be installed in this server, so we're going to click Next. And right here on the server roles, we're going to go to and scroll down all the way until we get to Windows Server Update Services. Click Add Feature, click Next. We notice that some other components have been installed, and we're going to click Next. Next, and we have 3 options here. We by default we have a couple of databases installed in the server, but in a production environment you want to have a actual database, and on the other hand you want these database to be installed not on the same drive where you network operating system is installed at. So you want it to be in a separate drive, meaning in a production environment. For the purpose of this lab, we're going to just leave them like that. So let's go and click Next. And at this point, we're going to enter the path C colon backward slash, and we're going to type updates. And then we're going to click Next. Next. On the web server roles, click Next and install. I'm going to fast forward this. All right, everything has been installed. Configuration required installation succeeded. Click close. And now let's go ahead and go to File Explorer. Go to C, go to Windows, and let's go to Microsoft.NET. Double click it. Framework 64 because it's a 64-bit computer. Double click it. The version of the .NET framework that we have installed here. And here's the temporary ASP.NET files folder. So we're going to right click on it and go to properties. We're going to go to security and we're going to click edit and we're going to add a service daemon called network service and click check the names, make sure that we have it and click OK. And we're going to give it full access, full control. So I'm going to click OK. We get a warning that we are giving permissions. Click yes. Click OK again. Get out. Now let's go back to Windows. And under Windows, we're going to go to the temp folder, which is located below. So the temp folder is right here. I'm going to go to Properties, Security again, Edit, Add, and give it Network Service. Check names, click OK. Full control, click OK. Say yes to the warning, and OK again. All right, so now if we are ready to go in a production environment because we had given it permission to the network service daemon to access those two important folders for the updates. All right, now that we have installed Oasis and we have given permission to the network service daemon to both folders, so we can now go on production, but we need to do a few things before that. The next thing we got to do is we got to configure the Windows Server Update Services. And in Server Manager, we got to go to Tools, Windows Server Update Services, and at this time we had to do complete the installation of the service. Click Run. Notice that this is a post-installation task. Okay, with the magic of video editing, we have fast forward and it only passed a few seconds for you. So let's close now. And wait for the wizard and click next. On this screen, go ahead and keep it clicked. Yes, I would like to join the Microsoft Update Improvement Program. And click next. On this side, choose the upstream server. We don't want to use the Microsoft Update website. We want to use a server of our own. You would download all of these updates manually. You have to evaluate them in an environment like in a production environment. You have to approve the updates because they can actually break up some applications and some business going on at the company. Under server name, we're gonna use server02.contoso.com. The fully qualifying name for it. And we're gonna click next. We're not gonna check any of that yet. We are not going to use a proxy. Click next, and I'm going to click start connecting. All right, we're going to click next this time and select the language that you're going to support. If you need to support more language, you're going to have to install it in the computer. On the set scene schedule page, just leave it as it is and sync manually. Click next. On the finish screen, just check begin initial synchronization and click finish. With the magic of fast forwarding, we got to the update services screen. So let's expand servers. Then we're going to click options, and then we're going to see the Waze's options. Then we're going to expand computers. We see all computers, and we're going to right click them. And then we're going to add a computer group. This computer group, we're going to call it group 1 and click add. And that's it. We have finished this part of the lab. Let's go ahead and do exercise 2.3, where we're going to configure the client or the clients. So in order to do that, we need to go to the domain controller. So let's go ahead and go to the domain controller. We're going to leave this open as it is. Go to domain controller, press Control Delete, log in as the administrator, put a customary password, and press enter. Server manager starts. And now we're going to go to tools, Active Directory, users and computers, and wait for the console to open up. Now we're going to right click the Contoso domain, and we're going to create a new organizational unit. We can expand and see all the organizational units we have. We need a new one for the purpose of the updates. So let's go ahead and click new, and we're going to select organizational unit. This organizational unit is going to be called servers. Click OK. Now let's go ahead and click the computers organization unit and expand it. Like now we're going to move server 02 to the new organization unit we created. So server 02, you're going to move it by dragging it. We could do it in some other way. We get the warning, say yes. Now let's go ahead and close this Active Directory users and computers. Now, server manager, we're going to go now create a group policy, tools, group policy management. Wait for the, here you go. Let's click it. Now let's span the forest, span domains, span contoso.com, and then I'm gonna click on servers, right click on it and create a GPO and link it here. We're gonna call these new GPO server updates. And click OK. Now we're gonna span the server node. You can see the server updates GPO right there. You can right click and edit, and that's exactly what's going to come up. Now let's pan configuration. Policies. Administrative templates. And we're going to go for the Windows components. And then all the way down, we're going to go to Windows Update. Let me expand this so you can see better. Windows Updates. On the Windows Updates, we're going to use a couple of templates. So we're going to double click the specify intranet on the group policy management editor. We're going to double click specify intranet Microsoft update service location and double click. We're going to select enabled and we're going to paste the location. It's right there in the lab instructions. So we're going to use the utility here and paste it. I already did. So paste that. Well, enabled and paste. On the set internet statistics server, we're going to use the same location. So paste the content. And now we're going to click OK. We can close this. Now on the editor again, we go ahead and select, double click, enable client side targeting. Right here, double click it. Then we're going to select enabled. And under the target group is going to be group 1. I'm going to click OK. And that's it for this part. Now, let's go ahead and do the 2.4 exercise. We're going to do the updates approval. So let's go to server 1. Right now we are on the domain controller, and we're going to leave this as it is right now and go to server 1. And we are exactly as we left it. So we are in update services, and the last thing we're gonna span server 1, which is already expanded. I'm going to click updates, expand it, and let's click on critical updates. We're going to make sure that says install not applicable. On the approval drop down, we're going to make sure the unapprove is selected. And under status, make sure any is selected. And click refresh. Now, if you want to select more than one update to approve, you can use the control key to do multiple non-adjacent selections. But we're going to just right click only one of them. And we can right click and we can click approve. You're going to select group 1. We're going to right click and approve for install or removal. So we're going to click approve for install and click OK. It is run. Now let's close it. And that is the end of this lab. There is a challenge that you guys can do if you want to do it, but that's all you are required to do for this lab.